Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm Paradoxic, and welcome back to Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This time on to episode 5 of season 4. Last time we had Robbie and Coulson officially meeting Mac. He re-met Mac after he unveiled his fiery skull head to him at the Emotion Laboratories place. And this time he actually met him as his human form, his human alter ego, Robbie Reyes. And managed to meet Coulson too. They didn't get. I think they didn't get to see in action. They knew that he fell into the fireworks place as a fiery red skull dude, but he didn't actually. But Coulson didn't actually get to. He didn't ask him to, which I kind of respect him for. Like he didn't immediately jump into the whole "show me your magic trick" thing. But he still just didn't really. He never really got the chance to see his skull head in action. So in due time, um, but he did meet Coulson and Mac, and they kind of investigated how and why Elias actually got into prison in the first place and what happened to him. So we learned about Elias. He was an electrical engineer who worked for Lucy and Joseph. Lucy and Joseph. Joseph, who is in a coma. He's in a coma in hospital after what Elias did to him, and Elias was hired by them to actually help them work on I know the name of this a a particle generator, like a quantum particle generator, I believe it was called. So like a machine that could that could create matter out of basically nothing at all. So it would actually create objects at will. And they created this particular piece of technology using the Darkhold. So we are getting close. We are getting closer and closer to finding the Darkhold and actually exploring the Darkhold adaptation through Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And Coulson had found it by the end of the episode. He had actually caught on to what the book was. Elias only ever mentioned the book. He never said it was the Darkhold. Never said what it was. Just like a book that was rumored to contain infinite knowledge and stuff like that. And then Coulson tracked it down and found out that it had a few different descriptions and names, but the overall gist of it was that it did indeed contain an infinite amount of knowledge, like all the knowledge anyone could ever want. So Lucy and Joseph and their team kind of used that to create this kind of technology, and then Elias found out well, I think one thing led to another, and then Joseph actually killed the rest of the team, and then Elias found out about that, and then he snapped and went haywire on Joseph, and then Joseph went into a coma, and Elias got sent to prison. So the other ones are ghosts because they are actually dead. They are actually dead. So yeah, and as we saw, I think it was in the second episode, I believe. The second episode, as we saw in that one, we actually do find out that the rest of the team aren't really all too happy with what went down. Like they do blame Lucy and her and Joseph's obsession and usage of the Darkhold in doing what they do. In doing what they did, like that's what led them to this point. Like Lucy herself is just now obsessed with refinding, reobtaining the Darkhold, and she even actually she used her own powers to wake up Joseph from his coma to try and find out where the book was. But the rest of them are just I mean, they want this nightmare to be over, but I think even they know deep down that it might not be as possible as they'd like it to be without actually finding the Darkhold to begin with. So Coulson has discovered that's the book they need to find. He doesn't really know where to start, but he also knows he knows that Nick Fury, Daniel Whitehall, and Red Skull have all looked for the Darkhold, but none of them have ever succeeded in finding it. So despite all the things that they have found and all the celestial and mystical objects they have used, the Darkhold is not one of them. So I am all the more intrigued to find out what happens when Coulson and his team gets he gets their hands on it and actually discovers what it is. So, and I'm curious to see what it is because again, like the only like actual interpretation of the Darkhold I've seen so far is in WandaVision, like Agatha explaining how there's a whole Scarlet Witch chapter, and even at the end of WandaVision we see Wanda herself astral projecting and actually using her true form as the Scarlet Witch, actually reading through the Darkhold and unlocking its secrets. So yeah, and I think I've kind of come into the knowledge that it should be the same Darkhold, because I think I've been told that one of the characteristics of the Darkhold might just be, or at least it basically is, actually adapting its appearance for the user's needs. So and it being essentially like a book of spells, or like a book of mystical facts, then it kind of makes sense to me that the Agatha in WandaVision would definitely come across it, and then it would eventually land in Wanda's hands, and that should lead into some craziness into Doctor Strange 2 as well. So I cannot wait to see how it's interpreted in this and how it's used in this show overall. So because I think magic is something we haven't really explored all that much in this, like magic, sorcery, any of that kind of celestialness, like superpowers have been have been done and dusted. I mean, not that they couldn't do more superpowers, but still, like stuff like that's been mainly stuff that's like the result of scientific experimentation, not like something like the Ghost Rider being like a product of hellish kind of intervention, and the Darkhold being like the magic book that it is. Like that, those kinds of powers. I want to see how they do it on Agents of Shield. So yeah, it should be fun. It should be very, very fun. But we had Robbie and Mac, and we had Robbie versus James too, the real Ghost Rider versus the bootleg that Marvel teased us with back in season 3 with the chains and everything. We got the same shot. We got the same chain whipping shot, but then Robbie, the Ghost Rider, the real Ghost Rider, was actually on the other end, ready to catch it, and he even used the chains himself too. So Ghost Rider, this one officially has chains. He has chains. I think even in this season so far, from episode one, they've been teasing us with background shots of chains in Robbie's environment, but never actually having him use it until James himself, showed off that trick, and then Robbie was like, nice, chains, I could definitely use these. And then, even in the end, he even walked away to his car and actually obtained those chains. So, Ghost Rider has chains. So that was really cool. We had May and Ada. May was being taken care of in Radcliffe's lab by Ada, and she got along well with her. She got along very well, like a robot. Someone who was straightforward, no jokes, no cheesy social interaction. That was the ideal kind of person for May to get along with. And looking back, I looked back, especially like through editing, something I actually never noticed until the very end is that Gemma knows that, or at least Gemma herself found out that Ada is not like a real person. She is an android. So she not only found that out, but also it kind of confused me because wait, isn't it meant to be that no one's meant to know she is? Because then if she is an android, then that would then prove that Radcliffe has been working on science in his own time, unsupervised and unauthorized from the government, which Fitz said straight from episode 1 is a no-no. So Gemma knowing that as well, even in that scene, that was the whole point kind of the whole point that she even said that she actually had a lie detector test coming up at Shield, and so she was going to have to lie about this and lie about it successfully too. So I guess we'll see just how successfully that lie goes. But I think she probably also knows that it's kind of like an important thing to Fitz, and that he also pretty much cares about keeping Radcliffe safe, and that he shouldn't be going to prison and stuff, and also that Ada is a highly successful piece of or not to objectify her too much or at all, ideally, but I mean, Gemma even did point out at the end that she's a remarkable piece of advanced technology, and that her passability as human is very impressive too. So yeah, we had all that stuff. And speaking of Gemma, we also had Gemma and Daisy. We had some amazing Gemma and Daisy girlfriend content, Daisy meeting her at the place that she was actually looking forward to buy for herself and Fitz, Gemma and Fitz actually getting ready to move in together at some point, so she actually tracked her down and found a place there, and then she showed up with a bullet hole, and we just had a whole episode of Gemma and Simmons, Gemma and Daisy just being just top tier girlfriends content, them actually trying to work out who in Shield would be the next target for the Watchdogs, and then they found James, and Gemma insisting that Daisy couldn't just go off on her own mission and then come crawling back to Shield when she needed patching up. It didn't really work like that. And that was unfair. So we had all that stuff. So it was cool seeing some Daisy and Gemma content. I highly look forward to more. But we had I think no, I actually remember someone actually pointed out in the comments what there actually is a ship name for Daisy and Simmons. I can't remember what it is. I can't remember what it is. What was it? What was that ship name? It's something really catchy too. I can't remember. I can't believe I've forgotten it already. Let me go back and have a look. Oh, Skimmons. It was Skimmons. I think honestly, I think that's more of a play on words from Sky and Simmons than it is of Daisy and Simmons. Simmons again. It sounds catchy. Skimmons, but I don't know if it actually works with her being Daisy Johnson now and no longer Sky. So I don't know if that actually works. Maybe something with Quake, like I don't know. I mean, maybe you could type a superhero name into it, like Quake. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not the best with names. I'm not very good with names. So, if there is like another name that's actually more accurate to either her superhero name or her Daisy Johnson name, then feel free to let me know in the comments. But other than that, I'm not too sure. But either way, what matters is we got some amazing Daisy and Gemma content, and we need more. I need more. That's sustenance for me. That is sustenance. So I highly look forward to whatever else the show has going for it in the future. But yeah, that is definitely pretty much all I've got from the last one. So on to episode 5. This should also be fun. And speaking of fun, if you guys want to catch the full-length reaction for this episode, this one will only be the highlights for YouTube. So if you guys want to catch the full-length version, that one will be available over on Patreon. So you can go catch that one over there. But yeah, on to episode 5 of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 4. Let's go. So they're looking for the Darkhold in a basement. That would make a lot of sense, yeah, but the Darkhold is conveniently... It's not even 6 feet. Literally, the mother box was buried deeper than this. The mother box was buried deeper than this. The Darkhold. That's it. I recognize that guy. I think he was in Final Destination, wasn't he? Yeah, he definitely looks like the guy from Final Destination.
German is your first language.
Oh, your mother tongue.
This is not possible.
Oh, so it shows it to you in your mother tongue.
It is reading.
Yeah, it analyzes you first and then gives you the information you desire. So that's what it means by infinite knowledge. It shows you what you want to see.
I buried it back where I found it.
He buried it where he found it. Oh, he put it back there. It's back under that basement. Oh no, oh, and he's gone.
She knows.
He's gone. Wow, the dude did not last more than a flashback scene. He did not he was literally around for exposition. That was it. Yeah, that was his whole purpose. Yeah, Final Destination and now Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Yeah, dude can't catch a break. And even ghosts can read it? Really? Oh no, ghosts can't read it. Ghosts can't read it. You gotta be living to read it. Sorry, Lucy.
No.
It's powerful, it's deadly, and now probably in the hands of a pissed off mad scientist ghost. So, thoughts? Feelings? It's a safe space.
We need another crack at Eli Morrow.
Something called the Darkhold.
Alright, stop.
Oh,
Not another word.
that's where she stops. Yeah, that's
I
her
have no
boundary.
lie detection today, and I do not want another secret.
It's not like he's gonna ask you if you know about some magic book.
Did you know there are over 212 micro-expressions that can betray a lie?
I actually did. I think I actually saw that in a bit Mr. Bean movie one time. Or like a Rowan Atkinson movie, rather.
Keeping secrets. They'll skip right over the firing part and throw me behind bloody bars.
Over my dead body. No one put Simmons in a corner or in a jail cell.
One last thing.
Oh! Oh, he's infected! He's infected! Are they all infected? Oh, yeah. I love that shield. I love that shield.
You sure
Oh, she has different gauntlets. Are those new gauntlets?
New and improved gauntlets, but Simmons said if you quit.
I could shatter
Oh,
every bone in my body and
Simmons!
be
You
crippled for
spoil
life.
her. You spoil her.
Easy.
I'm not gonna risk it.
Yeah, it looks like a new suit too. Yeah.
I did alright.
Cases of sanity.
She looks amazing. She looks amazing.
I'm gonna need you up here quarterbacking us unconscious.
To counteract the psychosis, the serum needs to be delivered directly into the brainstem. So, the injector
Oh, the back of the
needs to be
thing.
placed
Oh.
at the base of the skull.
Wait,
Oh,
Now,
jeez.
you know I don't like needles.
Well,
Nah.
it's a bee sting, really.
Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. No. Well, could you really not put it in the arm or like the neck at least? Not straight in the back of the skull. That's a highly sensitive spot.
Where are the guards?
Oh, she looks amazing.
Good
Look
question.
at them.
Your
Look at
heads
them.
down. Not all of them will be friendly.
Yeah.
Sir.
God, I love her. I love her so much. I love her. Oh god, of course she looks even better in a red shirt. God, first a red jacket and now a red shirt.
Agent Simmons, are you
Oh
now,
god,
or have
excuse
you
me,
ever
I'm just
been
gushing
in
over the women of this show.
Absolutely.
Have you ever obtained sensitive information that you are obligated to report up the security spectrum or to the director?
No. Oh no. No. No, you haven't, Gemma. You really haven't. Oh no, oh, the polygraph. Oh no.
Stop whining.
Yeah, the family's back together. Yeah. Mother, father, and a holy daughter. Not gonna end well. Not going to end well.
And know that any error, slip-up, or mishap could endanger the lives of humans and inhumans alike.
Well, that's reassuring.
Also, we're live in 15 minutes.
Oh shit. Okay, that's very quick. That's very short notice. Very short notice, even for a director. Yeah. There we go. There we go. Yes, chains. Yep, chains everywhere he goes. Everywhere. He's just a chain magnet. He's a literal chain magnet. Everywhere he goes, there's chains. There we go. There we go. Yeah. Oh, we can use those chains. The chains of damnation. There we go. To hell with you. Back to hell with you. If that's where you came from.
Ghost busted.
Oh no. Oh no, Mac's infected now too. Really? Mac's infected?
I'm infected.
Yeah.
Give me some space.
He needs that brain transplant thing. The brain injection. Oh. Yeah.
Of the so-called Humans First movement.
Thank you for having
Humans
me.
first.
And of course, our next guest needs
Humans
little
first.
introduction. He is a patriot, a public servant. He put his life on the line to save others during the UN bombing in Vienna.
Okay,
He's now the
he
director
was
of the newly
there.
reformed SHIELD,
Ah.
Jeffrey Mace.
Is it true that S.H.I.E.L.D. has compromised a prison?
I can assure you that S.H.I.E.L.D. has the situation completely under control.
Less of a compromise, more of a visitation turned into an ambush. Yeah.
We're never gonna make it.
Just jump over the tables like they are. Stop going round. Literally hop along the tables. Oh, for God's sake, Daisy, don't do this. Daisy, don't do this.
Don't do this.
That's what I'm telling her. Yeah, dinner time. There we go. There we go. Oh. Oh. Oh, jeez. Yeah, just lock him in there. Lock him in there. Yep. Ugh.
Director Mace, you take a damn good photo, I'll give you that, but that doesn't make you the man for this job.
Senator, I promise.
Is
you
he gonna
I am
tell
the man
them?
for the job?
Is he gonna tell
Because
them?
I'm not just a man. I'm an inhuman.
Oh shit, he's
Director
telling
Mace,
them.
Just to be sure I'm hearing you correctly, you're saying you are literally inhuman?
Oh damn.
I'm an inhuman.
Come on, Daisy, come on. Ah, there we go. Yeah, don't you hurt their daughter. Don't you dare hurt their daughter. That's what you get. Yeah, Mama Bear and Papa Bear are fighting back. There we go.
Let's argue about who should have left who to die later. You need a medic.
I'll be fine.
Fine? No, you won't. Fitz!
They really are a family.
Estoy reformado, carnal.
¿Reformado de qué?
Oh, was he one of the ones who put Gabe in a wheelchair?
Sobre unos chavalillos. Hace
Yeah.
unos años,
He put Gabe in a wheelchair.
dos hermanos quemaron el carro y les dejaron allí para que se murieran.
Oh, jeez.
Simón, yo no fui el que tomó ese jale. Estás diciendo
An
ahora a
assassin.
mí, quiero hacer ese.
Oh, damn. Oh my god, yeah, they just locking themselves back up, yeah. Oh my god. Oh, sweet baby Jesus, okay.
He may ask me what I thought of that story you told on television today. You know, the one about becoming a hero in Vienna. Because if asked, I would have to tell the truth. Which we both know you didn't do.
What? Was he not in Vienna?
Marlon, I'm going to exempt Agent Simmons from any further testing.
Thank you, sir.
Damn, was he? What's the
He
truth?
said, you know,
Was he not in
team
Vienna?
that trusts is a team that triumphs.
Okay. Simmons had another golden moment there. So what, he was never in Vienna? Is that what the truth is?
Trying to distance yourself from everyone else so they don't drown in your wake. I invented that.
Or her quake?
It doesn't work.
I promised Coulson I'd see this operation through.
After that, I'm gone.
You sure? Because I get the idea that the longer you go through this operation, the more reason you're going to see to stick around. And it's going to be good old Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. again. But right now it's tears. It's tears. Read the, only the living can read the Darkhold. Only the living can read the Darkhold. Does it actually say Darkhold? I can't tell. The letters are too curved. Yeah. I think it might say Darkhold.
This one was new to me.
Yeah, Ghost Rider. Oh, he looks even cooler on camera.
New to you too, I see. In 2 hours, these will go to ABC News just in time for this evening's broadcast.
Oh, jeez.
How do you think those poll numbers will hold up?
What does she want?
What do you want?
Yeah, what does she want? Oh, we're not gonna find out, are we? Are we gonna find out in this episode? No, we're not. We're not gonna find out. Okay. Okay. So we don't. Oh, so yeah. We I can definitely feel that vibe of each episode going by and each episode like slowly delving into what the Darkhold does, how it works, what it is, and stuff. So we get that, and yeah. So the Darkhold itself. We actually got a flashback to Lucy and Joseph back in the day. Actually, back when they were both alive and well, and curious scientists actually looking for the Darkhold. So they actively hunted, like they actively went out their way to try and track it down, find all the places it could be, and then I think they said they found it under a dead guy's house. Like he actually said, how about like a house where like the last known occupant died or something, and they were in the basement and found like some dirt levitating above a particular space, and then started digging and then found they're not even 3 feet under, 2 to 3 feet under. I mean, I'm pretty sure even the mother box in Justice League was buried deeper than that, but the Darkhold was not buried very deep down either. So they found it pretty easily, and the design looks cool. The design very very much looks different from the one in WandaVision. This one actually seems to have some kind of like logo on it, or at least like a verbal look. It actually looks like the words kind of Darkhold kind of planted across in like really curvy, like a cool mystical font. Whereas I think the one in WandaVision, it just had like from what I remember, it just had like these little shapes, like these 2 circles, and then like a needle through. Like it looked almost like a keyhole or like a key itself. So it looks different. So I think that might also tie into the thing where like it kind of maybe adapts its its visual appearance to different interpretations or whatever, but either way, it looks cool. It still looks cool, and it actually look. I kind of like seeing 2 different versions of it, because I think the one in WandaVision, like given that one is a Scarlet Witch property, that one is a Scarlet Witch story, they are not afraid at all to delve into magic. So with that one, it actually looks more like a spellbook. It's actually not afraid. It's not. It doesn't like they don't really seem too afraid in that version to delve into the whole old kind of worn out pages and the whole kind of ancient spellbook kind of look, whereas with this one looks like it's in pristine condition. Like the paper is barely yellow, it's got like its whole magic thing going on, and it still looks like it looks like it looks like it hasn't been opened in a long time, but at the same time it looks nearly new. So whole different vibe they're going for here, which I can still appreciate. And this one actually works in very, very mysterious ways too. So it analyzes you. This one actually analyzes you, and it analyzes like what your first language is, so like your mother tongue pretty much. So for Lucy it was actually English, but Joseph, his first language was actually German. So for him it actually showed up in German, and it actually. So I think the kind of the analysis might also tie into the sense of infinite knowledge. So it's not like a book that like. Or it is, but it is. So it's like at first the pages appear blank, but once you touch it and actually you make that first contact and it actually gets an idea of who you are and what you're looking for, then it actually shows you what you need. So it's not like a gigantic encyclopedia already containing every known fact in the universe, because that would just that would not be efficient for research. But it's like it actually analyzes you, reads your mind, finds out what language you speak best and understand best, and then finds out what you actually want. So it's like, it reminds me of that thing from Lucifer, like his way of actually finding out what people want. It's like, oh, what do you truly desire? Like it's actually like a mental kind of scan of that, pretty much. Actually, so it then kind of shows you equations or diagrams or whatever based on all that stuff. And I think that even that might differ among people, because I think so far we've only seen scientists themselves. So far we've only seen scientists themselves actually looking at it. So then, by that logic, it does show you like diagrams and equations. But then, if someone who's not a scientist, or just anyone from any other professional, anyone who wants to know anything else, maybe even something outside of science, I think I'm kind of curious as to what it might show them. So no, but I mean, it's like a book of infinite knowledge. So I think its kind of primary use has been to actually unlock more secrets, to learn more about things, to understand and study various things about the known universe and everything. So it's cool. Which kind of begs the question: where does it come from? That like its origins are like the origins of the Darkhold is pretty much like an unavoidable topic. So this is like a supposedly magic book that contains any piece of information you would ever want to know ever. So who created it, or what created it? Like where did it literally come from? Because it is a magic book, so it had to come from. It has to have some kind of like origins of like celestial origins, or like sorcery or something. So who actually was it created by witches, or created by ancient sorcerers, or is it connected to the same kind of lineage as the Sorcerer Supreme or something? Because I think the Darkhold, like if the Sanctum Sanctorum has a restricted section, like in Harry Potter, if it has a restricted section, then the Darkhold definitely seems like a book that would just go straight in the center of that. So I think in general, it definitely feels like it definitely feels like a book that would go in the Sanctum Sanctorum. But I think even in the first Doctor Strange movie, I remember there was actually like a whole section, or at least like a few books in general, like that he was actually explicitly warned against reading by both Wong and Baron Mordo. So I feel like like this, like had this been in the possession of the Sanctum, then this would have been among them. But it also begs the question of like why don't they have it already? Surely this being the mystical object that it is, surely Doctor Strange himself would have actually made sure that that he would have tried to make sure that the Darkhold wasn't just out there all willy nilly on the face of the earth, that it's available for anyone to stumble upon, but that it was actually kept hidden away in the Sanctum where it should be, and stuff. So because then like that's something, because like he spent he the sorcerers all spend their lives abiding by an oath to protect the Time Stone, which didn't even work out in the end. Let's be honest, but if it's the Darkhold not being in the Sanctum Sanctorum, then it's like, what, we have plenty of other magic books, and the Infinity Saga is our main cause, that's our main story, so we'll just leave the Darkhold to the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. like that. Is that really how the conversation went down? It's like, I think it's definitely one of those questions that feels like it needs to be answered. Okay, I mean, if it feels more like an MCU plot hole. Like, okay, the Darkhold being a thing, why would Doctor Strange not want it out of any other potentially bad hands? Like why would he at least not actively send Mordo or what? I mean Mordo, or even back when the original Angel one, the one played by Tilda Swinton, maybe even I mean, she had her own kind of hypocrisy going on, like her drawing energy from the dark dimension and everything. So there's no telling if she even knew of the Darkhold, or if she actually knew. Because the thing, I might have to actually go back and rewatch Doctor Strange, but I don't remember there being any mention of the Darkhold, or any mention of missing books or anything like that. So I don't know if they actually if it was more of a background thing, or if they even knew that the Darkhold existed. The Darkhold existing definitely feels like, because it's definitely got to have been used, even down through history. It's definitely had to have been used, and certain pieces of technology over the years could not definitely scream advanced and mystical or extraterrestrial or something, it definitely seems like it could be the product of the usage of the Darkhold. So it feels like like a word of the Darkhold whispers of some magic book that can grant you any knowledge you wish would definitely have hit the ears of literally everyone within the Sanctum. So I don't know, but it definitely feels like it definitely feels like it's something that should be there. But I think right now what I care more about is definitely where it came from, like how it actually came to be. Like if someone out there did, if someone or something out there did actually create a book for full of this stuff, or if it just I don't know if it just randomly spontaneously created itself or what happened, but the origins are definitely something I'm very interested in finding out, and also just like like how extensive its knowledge is, like how much it can be useful, because it can't just be science. It can't just be. I mean, mostly science, sure, because again, it is like its most recent product has been the quantum particle generator that Lucy and Co created. So definitely mostly that kind of stuff, but also just like if like because I don't know, like I just imagine someone would use it to be like, hey, Darkhold, what's the secret of life, or like what comes at the end of the universe, or like what came before the Big Bang, and then the Darkhold would come up with something like so someone asking those kinds of like someone maybe looking at BuzzFeed unsolved cases or something, and then asking the Darkhold, like what really happened, or like just like that's like 100 different questions unanswered by science, and then someone just cracks open the Darkhold and be like, give me the answer to this right now, and then the Darkhold just gives you everything. So I don't know. I feel like that would be something worth exploring. So whether or not they do that, it's unlikely, but it's still like a thought that popped into my head. So can't blame me for trying. But yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing how much further the Darkhold is explored, and it also can't be used by the dead. It can't be used by the dead. Like Lucy found it, and then Lucy actually got the information from the Joseph cell. And Joseph, I think, Joseph, I recognize the actor almost immediately. I think I actually just recently, not the whole movie, but I actually just recently kind of found rewatched some clips from the first Final Destination movie, and I recognize the actor almost instantly. So yeah, and he didn't he did not have much that counted. So he did not have much time, or very much time that counted for screen presence in this episode. He was literally used for exposition, and then they were like, yeah, make his eyes bleed, and then cut to black. That's it. So yeah, no, but he was used literally just for a flashback, and then like for a few seconds of death, like Lucy having woken him up and then infected him, so she actually kind of scoured his brain to find out where the book would be. So he himself, I think he actually took it back and buried it where he found it again. So that was an easy find for Lucy. But then when she tried to read it, she found out she couldn't. So the dead can't read it. They're dead, like dead people, like ghosts, any kind of. I mean, I guess it's not exclusive to ghosts, like any zombies or reanimated people that no longer have any life left in them. They cannot read the Darkhold. Only the living can read the Darkhold. So I think that I want to say that opens up the door for some interesting kind of things, but I can't nothing immediately comes to mind. I think because then I wonder maybe why would that be like why would the dead not be able to read the Darkhold? Is it like some kind of price they pay for misusing it? Maybe because I mean the Darkhold itself. I mean because it makes me wonder, like the Darkhold itself. Maybe it's not inherently evil. Maybe it's like what you use it for. Then like people misjudge it as an actual object. Like the Darkhold contains knowledge for like a book of infinite knowledge, but that could be good or bad based on who's wielding it. So Lucy and her team, they use it to create the quantum particle generator, which I mean we haven't really. I mean there's been no word so far on what they actually generated or why it was so bad. But look at Eli, he instantly saw it as playing God and bending the rules of nature and science and all that jazz. So he was already understandably kind of reluctant to support any of it. But then I think it sent like Joseph crazy or something, and then he killed his team. So that was that, but the Darkhold itself, I don't think it's I don't want to think it's inherently evil. I think it's just I think because of the power it holds, it's had a bad history of people who actually use it for malicious intent, like people who use it with malicious intent. So people who want the wrong things, people who see that level of power and think that they're who then think that they are gods. Then try and use it for nefarious purposes, and especially the kind of people who have actually sought out too. I mean, Nick Fury is not inherently a bad guy. He's been known to mess around with otherworldly kind of objects and technology before, but he himself is not an inherently bad guy. But Daniel Whitehall and Red Skull, on the other hand, they are that kind of history would definitely put a bad name on the Darkhold. Like, wow, if these guys want to, then it must be bad. But no, it's literally just a book that tells you anything you would ever want to know. So literally anyone could want it for any reason. So I think all we know about the team so far is that they used it to create this thing that could create something out of nothing. But what they even used it to create, we don't know. Like, for all we know, it could, I mean, like a quantum particle generator, like something that creates matter out of nothing. Like you could create anything with it. You could create resources. You could create medicine. You could create anything, like anything good, but also anything bad. So. And I think that would also kind of question, like, how would you create a piece of technology like that? How would you actually go about implementing that? Like what kind of power source would it use? What how what would be the drawbacks, or what would be the negative kind of effects of that? So again, I feel like there's a lot of different factors that play into whether or not the Darkhold is good or bad. But again, with the power it holds, undeniably something that needs to be kept away from all hands in order to prevent it from being used in the wrong hands too. So yeah, and again, I remember saying like a few episodes back, like I find it unbelievable. I find it hard to believe anyone could stumble across it in like a random room or a random cave or something. But I mean, this wasn't really too far off. It was literally buried, like not very deep under someone's house, like in someone's basement, and it wasn't exactly hard to locate either. Like its kind of position meant that it was actually levitating the kind of the dirt and the mud, the kind of dust in the actual basement too. So there was that. But yeah, the dead can't read it. So I think with the whole dead thing, I feel like that's the price you pay if you maybe if you use it for malicious intent and then you die, and then like maybe because yeah, maybe, I don't know, because they didn't die from the Darkhold. Like they died, like they died being killed by Joseph. So maybe Joseph himself was like manipulated, or like his mind was what's the word? Like his mind was poisoned, maybe poisoned or twisted by the Darkhold, and then he went crazy and he wanted more. But then the team maybe had like limited ideas, or maybe the team didn't want to go. Maybe the team didn't want to go as far with the Darkhold as he did. So then he snapped and figured that he could kill them and take the rest of it for himself. And then Eli found out and he snapped and he took out Joseph too. So maybe that's how it happened. So maybe I don't know. I still don't know like why the yeah. I still don't know what I still don't know why the dead wouldn't be able to read the Darkhold. Like if that's some kind of punishment, or if it's some kind of like just some kind of some kind of drawback. Like maybe I mean, that kind of power would be dangerous too if even the dead, if even people from beyond the land of the living could actually access that kind of magic, then maybe they would want something even different. Maybe I mean, besides from being brought back to life, that kind of thing. But yeah, either way, it's going to be fun to see exactly pretty much any and all of what the Darkhold is capable of. So it should be fun. And we had Ghost Rider teaming up. We had Robbie teaming up with Shield again. So they actually went to break out Elias Morrow from the prison that he was at, and that was a interesting sequence of events in this episode. So I mean, yeah, it started off with the warden and the guards all being brainwashed. I was wondering, throughout, from them walking through the gates to them collecting their stuff again to them entering the warden's office, they were getting weird looks all around. And I was wondering, is this like just what is this like? Is it because they know they're Shield and they don't trust Shield anymore? Are they those kind of people, or what is it? But then we saw things from the warden's perspective, and then we saw the ghostly bleak eyes on May and Cole's face, and I was like, oh great, they're infected. They're all infected. They're all looking at them the same weird way, so they're all infected. So there's that problem. So that was basically a visitation turned into an ambush. So not a compromise, as Sanderson and Adair tried to paint it as, but rather a bit like a friendly visitation turned into like a ghostly ambush and everything. So that was not so fun. But what was interesting was Phil wanting to bond with May over death, and that was actually more interesting than I thought it would be, because the fact that Phil made a very good point. Like anything about his death, anything about how it happened, anything about what came after it was all completely wiped. It was part of his Tahiti mind wipe. He used to remember, but then his memories of death were also mixed in with memories of the recovery and the horrors and the trauma of recovery. So then the Tahiti project mind wiped that, and then gave him friendlier memories of going away on like a sabbatical or whatever and going to Tahiti and all that kind of stuff. So he literally didn't remember anything, but May did not have to go through those traumas. She literally just had to die and then come back a few minutes later and stuff like that. So he spent almost the entire episode trying to bond with her over death and just constantly quizzing her on what she saw and what her final thoughts were. And she revealed, just as they were standing over the trash chute, she actually revealed that she actually saw him. She saw him, and I think when you think about it, that has both comedic and also like rather sweet kind of undertones to it. Like because the comedic thing was like, oh yeah, sure, I saw your face before I died, and I died even harder. I died even quicker, but then thinking about it, it's like, I mean, even in that scene, it's like, like ultimately, like you really couldn't wait until after I got out of the trash to say something like that. But no, she just had to tell him as they were getting ready to jump in the trash, to reveal to him that she saw his face before she died, and then officially got blocked out. But then I think that there's also somewhat of like a sweet undertone because then I think that could also tie into the whole thing where it's like that whole saying of like, when you die your whole life flashes before your eyes. So then and in that sense then Coulson is most of her life at least. She would of course seen the other team members too, and potentially even her mother and father and even Andrew as well before the whole Lash stuff happened. But then Coulson being the most recent connection, being one of the strongest connections of her life, she actually saw his face before she died, and actually probably even, because there's, I think there was also that thing that Radcliffe was counting on, like those 7 minutes where her brain is still somewhat active, and they have to actually try and get that to reboot and then bring her back to life too. So it's like, even like before she, I think, before she died, but also like before she officially, she was clinically dead, but before she officially died. Like she could have actually seen his face and like him being like, like, come on mate, you got this, get up, don't go towards the light, just go back, let Simmons and Radcliffe rescue you, go back, you're a fighter, like him, seeing him in her mind, actually encouraging him and actually, encouraging her even, and actually, like reminding her to keep fighting and to actually stay alive and to go back to life and everything and stuff like that. So it could have been, in the moment, all she said was, I saw you. But then I think, like maybe under further establishment, she would actually reveal that, I saw you, I heard your voice, you were telling me to keep fighting, to actually come back to us and to, stay alive and all that kind of stuff. So it's a nice enough thought. It's a nice enough thought, and it has both the comedy undertones to it and the romantic undertones to it too. So that's what we love about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It gives us a sweet little balance of both. So it gives us a sweet balance of both. So that was very, very cool. And one of my favorite new discoveries this episode, Simmons. Simmons develops new gauntlets for Daisy, and they are honestly some of the most gorgeous things I've ever seen. So shiny and new, and a bit bulky, a little bit bulky. I mean, being shiny is a bit more visible to you. Like the last one seemed more like a glossy or like a matte black, like a bit more like a matte black and smaller too. But this one actually covers like most of her arm, and it fits, and it's all shiny and silvery and everything. So, Simmons already looked at Daisy and said, "I gotta get that girl some bling, not just some functional gauntlets, but also some bling." So that's something that really makes her stand out and shows the world just how beautiful I think she is. So Simmons really said that and then gave her the shiniest, silveriest gauntlets that she could possibly give her. And I think I can't tell if it is a new suit. It looks somewhat like a new suit. Like it looks like it has like different accents and different linings to it. So it could be a whole new suit overall. So that's just honestly the gauntlets alone are amazing. But then if it's a new suit, that's just Simmons spoiling Daisy as she sees fit, which is amazing. It's amazing. But she has new gauntlets, which I love, and I love her whole suit, and I love her as a whole too. So it's amazing. It's amazing. Her gauntlets are amazing, and she's amazing. But we also had Daisy with Coulson and May. They were like, again, I think this episode proved that at time, throughout the entire episode you can kind of get those family vibes, but for the most part, it's even been identified in previous episodes. It is pretty much like a dysfunctional family where she's the very, very angsty kid who just especially in this episode, she's a very angsty kid that kind of insists on putting her life on the line and throwing herself in harm's way to save them. And May is not having it. May was not having it one bit, being don't do anything that suicidal or stupid ever again. And her insisting that her insisting that that trick was for them to be able to get away and stuff. And it's just like that that dysfunction really comes in, that dysfunction really jumps in, but it shows you that deep down they are a family. They had their issues, and now more than ever they really had their issues, but deep down they are a family. And it's a mix of like seeing them get along, but also seeing them at each other's throats sometimes, and being emotionally distant and closed off and not really knowing what to say and stuff. So it's a very, very kind of lovable and awkward kind of TV show family, pretty much. So it's amazing. It's amazing. So I do look forward to it. I think like Daisy is very, very much seen actually avoiding the kind of obvious talks and the obvious conversations here, and like the obvious kind of emotional reconciliations that she needs to be having, which Robbie catches her out on, and then even May at the very end, May telling her that like closing herself off is not the best way to do things, because even May used to do that after the whole Bahrain incident, and Phil Coulson was the one reason that she didn't really get away with it, because he wouldn't let her actually get away with actually like walling herself off and insisting on being distant and stuff like that. So Phil Coulson will never give up on you. That is like that's sort of confirmation that he is basically like her dad, and he's always going to be there for her no matter how much she distances herself. Like he's gonna feel like the actual tension. He's gonna feel that kind of tension, but at the same time, he's gonna fight to keep her at the very least at arm's length. And he's gonna fight to maintain some connection. So that whole kind of familial bond is being tested, and it's also being reinforced at the same time, which I love seeing. That's like prime Made to Shield content right there. Like tested relationships, but also kind of at the same time reinforced relationships as well. So yeah, it's great. It's really, really great. But we had Daisy actually actually pushing them both out the cafeteria to actually take on the Watchdog prisoners themselves. And the Watchdogs are recruiting even in prison. The Watchdogs are recruiting in prison, which is somewhat surprising. I mean, it's somewhat surprising because because I think if they wanted fighters, sure, because then like prison brawls are definitely a thing. So if they actually wanted to, if they actively wanted to recruit fighters, that they could also. Well, we see here that they've already been easily indoctrinated with Watchdogs kind of lingo, like them being convinced that Inhumans are freaks and that Shield is with the Inhumans, and that Shield by that logic is just inherently bad. So they already stand against Inhumans, and as we saw, they're more than willing to kick Daisy's ass. But Daisy stood her ground. Daisy stood her freaking ground. She actually delivered kicks and punches and like roundhouses and all sorts of other moves. Like she stood her ground for like a solid 10 minutes before they kind of overpowered her in the kitchens, and then May and then Coulson had to come in with the ISA and like May's own kicks and everything too. Like they literally came in swinging, saying, "Don't you dare touch our daughter! You touch our daughter, you get incapacitated by me, and ISA'd out by Coulson. You get an ISA bullet to the face from Coulson." So they really came in swinging and said, "Don't touch our daughter! You touch our daughter, and you will have hell to pay." So yeah, that was fun. That was fun. And yeah, them being at the prison, Robbie had a personal vendetta. He had a very personal vendetta that he was fighting towards the end. After Mac gave him his own words of actually reminding him of what they were there to do and stuff like that, and even warning him against actually using his powers unless absolutely necessary. Robbie was kind of working to actually fight that urge, but then on the way to guiding Elias out, he actually walked past that guy's cell again. And yeah, so the history there is very deep and very traumatic for Robbie, understandably. It is the guy who was part of I think they were called the 5th Street Locos. They did part of the kind of the street gang that actually put Robbie put Gabe in a wheelchair. So he did mention before that like some kind of gangbangs actually shot I don't know if he actually mentioned that they actually shot him before, but he did mention that like some gang members were actually responsible for putting Gabe in a wheelchair before. So he did mention that. So now we actually see the history. Like it wasn't just a drive-by that he initially assumed it was a drive-by, because I think they were in the car and then the shooting happened and the car blew up and both of them were severely injured. So yeah, how I don't know. So I think I don't know how at what point in the timeline that would take place in terms of Robbie being Ghost Rider, because I don't know, because I mean, because then that would mean that he's injured. So yeah, I mean, it would depend on how injured he is. I mean, like, would it because then if he is injured, then because then if that gave Robbie the injury, like maybe would he have used that as part of the deal? Would he have actually sold his soul to make sure that his brother made it out? Because then, if he was in a wheelchair, then maybe then he was actually injured worse than that before. But then he sold his soul, made whatever kind of deal, and then the operation was semi-successful in the sense that he was actually brought back to life. But then the confirmation then was that he would never walk again. But then Robbie was actually stuck with the Ghost Rider inside him. So maybe, I think I already figured that before, like whatever happened before, like whatever accident happened before must have been like a key factor in Robbie actually selling his soul and actually doing that. Because I think like an incident that traumatic would make sense for him to actually wanted to for him to be willing to do anything he could to actually bring his brother back and make sure he was safe again. So like he sold his soul, then maybe if there was any operating, then that happened. Then they kind of confirmed that, or maybe they brought him back, but then the actual kind of the one kind of catch was that he would never walk again. So he's alive, but he's now permanently paralyzed and is stuck to a wheelchair for the rest of his life too. So yeah, and then maybe Robbie's injuries were less severe, so then he was still able to actually get up and go at it again. So then he made that deal, and then he was stuck being the Ghost Rider too. So yeah, maybe yeah. So then the actual the actual shooting wasn't even just it wasn't just like a random drive-by gang shooting. It was actually a hit that even this guy, I think they mentioned his name. I can't remember what it was, but even this guy didn't know he was actually locked up while the shooting happened. So whoever actually called the hit wasn't, it wasn't him. Like he may have been connected to them, but it wasn't him. But it was still his boys. It was still guys he worked with in that gang that was actually, I think that might have been involved. Or at least he mentioned that once he found out like what had happened, he also he found out for one thing that the two boys involved actually survived. But then also that then also that his boys were then actually hunted down and murdered and burned by the Ghost Rider and stuff, and then only one person survived, and then that's when it comes in. That's when it kicks in that the Robbie isn't just here to find out history. He's here to actually settle that score at the very. I mean, not once and for all, because clearly not once and for all, because the guy who did this, the guy who called whoever called out the hit is still out there. They're still out there, so Robbie needs to settle that score, but then this guy is still part of that gang, he's still part of that history, and he still kind of knew what went down. So I think, yeah, I mean, he didn't have any personal connections, because I'm kind of curious as to was it really worth killing him? But then maybe this kind of sends a message to maybe again for Robbie, this is a lot more personal. It's not merely about justice. It's about actually making sure that for him his own personal kind of loose ends are tied up. So for him, it's about sending a message too. So I think word of this would have actually reached the guy whoever actually sent the hit to. So they're finding out that old members of that gang are slowly dying out in the same way, and now the last one who was in Lockup has also been burned to a crisp too. So I think that scene of him transforming, and I love the detail in the sense of the reaction of the prisoners behind him. At first it just shows his head kind of buffing out smoke, but then gradually his skin and his hair and everything burns away. You see his skull, and then you see the prisoners behind actually notice this guy whose head is just turning into a giant flame skull and everything, and then they find out, and then there's actually a giant fire billowing out the cell from the outside angle, and then you see that happening, and then Ghost Rider comes out, and everyone, I love that scene. When Ghost Rider comes out, he starts walking down the hallway, and you just see all the prisoners going back into their cell and swiftly closing the door like that. That is some Punisher level stuff. If the guards come down, the guards walk through, trying to actually, trying to get the prisoners back in line. They all bust out their cells and start causing chaos. But if the Ghost Rider or the Punisher walks down that corridor, it's just oh shit, yeah, just gonna swiftly get myself back into my cell, just close the door, lock it, just go ahead, I'm now. So all of a sudden they're well behaved. They get the message. That shot of him walking down and everyone is going back into their respective cells is just honestly it's Punisher level stuff, and it honestly kind of makes me want to see the Punisher meeting Ghost Rider. If not if not just for the visuals, then maybe like, I mean, if not just for their character kind of like profiles or like character personalities, then just for the sake of how, I mean, maybe wanting them to meet might be a bit of a stretch, but at the same time, it's like that same vibe. It's that same vibe, like the Ghost Rider and the Punishers are the Ghost Rider and the Punisher are two characters that prisoners just do not mess with unless they're beyond confident or maybe just stupid enough to go up against the Force like that. But it's like it feels like it would be the same vibe, like the Punisher. The Punisher, once he's known as the Punisher, like the Punisher actually beyond his origin story, once he's known as the guy who kills without hesitation, then like if he walks down the corridor of prisoners and then like Ghost Rider does the same, that would be the same reaction you get. The prisoners all knowing what I mean. They see you see a guy with a flaming skull head. You do not you do not want to mess with that regardless. Like you do not know what he's capable of. And also they even saw Ghost Rider burning the guy in his cell too. Like they saw the amount of fire that came out of that cell, so they know what could happen to them if they mess with him. So it's like, yeah, you know what? It's not really my day to die. I don't really want to turn into a like a roast human dinner or whatever, but that's just that's enough carnage for me. I'm just gonna go back into my cell and lock myself up again. So that's enough action for them. So yeah, that scene of Ghost Rider coming out the cell and then walking down the corridor, like I think that is just such like it's such a it's almost like a video that plays in reverse, but it's not. Even the way that happens, even the way that's choreographed, it almost looks like it's a video that plays in reverse of them coming out, or like as if he's actually walking out, but then you'd expect them to actually go out themselves, but it's like, no, it's the Ghost Rider. You do not mess with the Ghost Rider. You walk back into your cell and you lock yourself up like a good prisoner, and leave him be. So yeah, that scene was crazy. That scene was crazy. And then we had Mace and Gemma. So Gemma was in the middle of her little lie detector test, and yeah, as soon as she was asked about whether there was any sensitive information that she was in possession of, that she was obligated to report. That was I think that question was so awfully specific yet so vague at the same time. It's like it's the exact kind of question that Shield would ask you. It's not so specific that it would be ridiculous. Like, oh, do you know of any recent androids or robots that were created by scientists in former allegiance with Shield, or do you know of any, like it wasn't everything like that, but it's like oh, it perfectly highlights the fact that oh, not only as an agent of Shield but also as someone on the inner circle, so someone with such a close connection to the director himself. It also highlights that like being in that kind of position, she's obligated to. I mean, day by day, she's obligated to report any kind of science info and science intel to him anyway. But is there any other kind of actual sensitive information with like in or out of Shield that that she's obligated to actually tell the director about, if it actually affects the ways that Shield does things, that she actually is in possession of, that she hasn't told them. And then as soon as she does that, the kind of the eye thing glares, like her darting to little places and whatnot, and then like just different sections like light up red and stuff. So very different to the one from season one, but like very different to the lie detector from season one that Agent Koenig actually made the original 6 go through. But this one, I feel like it might have been. I don't know if this one was meant to be more or less powerful than that one, because I mean, that one, the original one, Koenig even said that that Fury designed that one, or at least Fury asked for that one to be designed so well that even Romanoff herself, like a master spy, like a master, manipulator and liar, even she couldn't actually beat. But then he would never tell anyone if she did or not. So it was like some kind of weird placebo effect. You just have to go in with the belief that not even Natasha Romanoff could actually beat this thing, so you literally have no choice but to tell the truth. So I think, I don't know if this one was meant to actually be on par with that one, or if this was different, but Simmons herself, she is aware of micro expressions. I think that one, I remember, I think it's I said Mr. Bean, no, it's a Rowan Atkinson movie. I think it might have been Johnny English. In that one, there's actually I remember a scene from one of them where he actually takes a lie detector test, but then him his character being so kind of overconfident and cocky that he believes he's the perfect spy, and even in that scene he's oh, I've been trained in the art of resisting interrogation and in the art of actually being able to hide the truth so well. But then the person taking the test actually says, this machine is actually designed to catch out even the smallest of micro expressions and like all that stuff. And like you see in that scene, he answers a question, but then it goes back and it shows his face all contorting and like him just executing all these different microaggressions at once and just completely giving himself away. So I was aware of the concept from that movie, but she did point out in this one too, like the tensing of the forehead, the darting of the eyes, any sudden change in heart rate or anything like this. I think those were definitely on, especially if you're like sweating, then it measures maybe your body temperature too, or like your heart rate or something along those lines. So she went into it very well aware of all those different things. And yeah, and then she almost got. I mean, she very nearly could have gotten caught out if Mace needed her help. Like Mace actually called her out specifically, but then turns out that he didn't actually want her to do the lie detector test again until the very end. But he also needed her help with the conference that he was about to have with Senator Dia and also the kind of ABC news media. I actually noticed the ABC logo, so it's some convenient kind of product placement given that the show did actually air on ABC and stuff, and it's also like a Disney-owned network too, so very convenient product placement. I don't know if that I don't know if that would count as product placement. I don't know if they would actually be, if they would just be obligated to use ABC for any kind of media references, or if they would actually be allowed to reference anything else, like if they'd be able to, if they'd be allowed to like talk about Netflix, or if they'd actually be like let's catch this show later on ABC or something like that. I don't know, but either way, it was a cool little kind of little thing. But yeah, but he had the conference there, and he wanted Gemma in his ear. He wanted, so like I said, nothing as extensive or as horrifying as a brain transplant, but rather like actually having her like an earpiece in his ear while she had like a microphone on her collar so that she could actually read info to him. So I think like that was cool too. That was cool, like him answering questions with her actually relaying scientific kind of info into his ear, and actually like giving him the information he needs to reassure the world that that S.H.I.E.L.D. is safe and that Inhumans are not inherently bad and all that kind of stuff. And I like that they pointed out that that Nadia actually using different seemed more like a dog whistle than anything else, because I think that is the whole, because I think even the way that they explore the whole Inhuman storyline, the Inhuman storyline is actually painting the story as this group of people who have been changed and are therefore different, but then the world views them as inherently evil or inherently bad, or the world views them as something to be feared and avoided because of the fact that they're different. So then the different in that context is obviously being used as a dangerous kind of a threatening kind of dog whistle and stuff, and that kind of phrasing is very, very antagonizing, and kind of just doesn't really help the conversation, doesn't really help the kind of climate that Inhumans are forced to kind of live through and everything. So that kind of storytelling is actually really well done there. And so then Mace, I believe I can use this term accurately. He did come out. Mace did come out. He came out as an Inhuman on national television. On live, I believe it was live national television. He came out as an Inhuman and as the Inhuman director of S.H.I.E.L.D. So he revealed to the world. So I think even him taking the earpiece out, I figured, okay, now he's actually going to speak from the heart and maybe give some kind of heartfelt speech. I didn't think he would actually tell the world he was Inhuman. I figured, okay, less now less time for scientific facts and more time for him actually speaking from the heart and actually trying to encourage some empathy and stuff like that. So I figured that might be the route he goes, but then the more he started talking about himself, the more I figured, okay, he might be going down that path instead. He might be trying to. He actually might end up revealing himself as an Inhuman, and also that kind of power is very much visible too. Like the power behind that kind of statement too. Him being him announcing himself as Inhuman, him announcing himself as a member of one of the most feared one of the most wrongfully feared groups in the world, and actually reassuring people that he is an Inhuman, but he is also the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. He's a good man trying to do the right thing. He's trying to protect people. He's trying to reinitiate this organization. into the world again, trying to make S.H.I.E.L.D. a good name, a safe name, a trustworthy name, and he's also there. He's not threatening the world. He's not giving out death threats. He's not warning. He's not telling people don't kill Inhumans or I'll send my S.H.I.E.L.D. agents after you. He's literally saying like I'm an Inhuman. I'm also the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. and we're here. We're here. We're trying to make peace. We're trying to do good by people, like people, be they Inhuman or otherwise, and stuff like that. So I think that also. I feel like to me like that also has kind of a very kind of like life imitates art kind of vibes to it too. Like people who have like very very high kind of like celebrity status or like high power in today's world who then come out as like various different things. So it definitely has that kind of vibe too. Like him also kind of hoping that anyone watching this who's Inhuman themselves, who's maybe kind of like under that same kind of context, who's like a closeted like a closeted Inhuman, like someone with these abilities who doesn't know how to control them, but then like they live in this kind of political and social climate where they're being told that who they are and what they are is wrong, and that because they have powers, because they have enhancements that like they are to be feared and that they are wrong and that they're going to end up hurting someone or something, but then he's there to remind them that like with that kind of speech, with that kind of power, that he's there to remind them like you're not alone. And you're not bad either. Like who you are is entirely up to you, and he encourages them to actually be good, of course. But he also kind of encourages them to actually to not listen too hard to the kind of dark voices and the kind of more hateful voices and everything. So I think that scene it felt, I think looking back, it felt kind of brief. It felt fairly brief, but I think at the same time it still holds that kind of powerful message that he believes that with the power he has, he himself feels that kind of like moral kind of obligation to stand up for his own people, and that like standing up for Inhumans while passing as human can only really go so far. But if he actually, if he himself actually comes out as Inhuman, then he actually shows them that he was chosen for this job because he's the right man for it, because he cares about people. Like he cares about people. He wants to protect them. He wants to actually unite humans and Inhumans under one world. Not one world, one banner. That's a completely different story. And pre-blip too. So that's that. But this one is pre-blip anyway. Anyway, so he wants to unite Inhumans and humans under like a common sense of unity and kind of just pretty much kindness and peace and tolerance and everything. So he's there to remind them of that. Like he is Inhuman and he has not committed any crimes. He's not gone out of his way to kill people. He's not used his powers against anyone. He's actually taken up a position leading in government agency and actually leading like a new world into a better tomorrow and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, and I think I'm curious as to what the kind of next episode we may well see exactly what the public reaction. Sorry, I need water. So I'm curious as to next episode. Hopefully, we actually see what the public reaction to the new director of S.H.I.E.L.D. being an Inhuman is. I think knowing the world as well, because I think the public reaction is meant to kind of reflect like what the kind of it's meant to somewhat reflect what the actual world, what the actual real world is like too. So I think it'll be generally maybe like a mixed reaction. So like a mixed reaction, like some people say. It will be a generally mixed reaction, like some people saying that, oh, so this guy's Inhuman, but again, he's the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. and he's trying to be a good guy, like he's trying to make S.H.I.E.L.D. a good thing again, so you can't possibly be our enemy, so maybe we've misjudged the Inhumans and other people, and maybe other people being driven even further into fear, being like, oh, this guy's Inhuman, it's only a while, and now he's in charge of S.H.I.E.L.D., so now it's only a matter of time before he sets all the Inhumans on us, or something like that. So I don't know, but I am anticipating, I'm anticipating generally mixed reactions, so that, that way I won't, it's an easier disappointment to take if it's negative, but then I don't have to hype myself too much, only to be disappointed if there's not, an overly positive reaction to it either, so overall, I'm just kind of curious as to how people will kind of see this going forward. I mean, they said his poll numbers were up. I think they actually reference at the end that his announcement was received generally well, and his poll numbers were up. So I think maybe quite a few people actually saw it as like a useful and informative and hopeful kind of announcement, and that they actually put a bit more faith in him. And also given that he felt able to actually trust the world, because I think there could have been that element too, that like like how can he lead a world, or like how can he lead Shield into a world that he maybe like doesn't even fully trust, if he doesn't actually be honest with the world about who he is and stuff like that. So yeah, interesting stuff. Like great stuff from Mace. I'm actually surprisingly enjoying Mace as a character. Like I'm enjoying Mace as a character, and even more so after this, because I think this also goes to prove that he's not just like a director of Shield. He's an actual good guy with a good enough heart. He actually believes in, like he even said himself, he believes in the message and the kind of ideals that Shield has, like the ideas that the world and the ideals they're striving for. So he actually believes in that. He believes in being the director. He believes in actually creating a better tomorrow for humans and inhumans alike. So he actually believes in what they're saying. So it's not just about mottos and bureaucracy and propaganda for him, but it's actually creating like a safer world for everyone who lives in it. So I am actually he's starting to grow on me. He's starting to grow on me. So I'm curious. I'm looking forward to seeing more of his character and seeing what he's like and stuff, and also seeing if he gets to use more of his powers, because I think we haven't actually seen his powers in action much. We've seen him being able to knock out Agent May, but also being able to take hits to the chest and face and stuff with a metal pipe and everything. So I'm curious to see if we'll actually see any more action from him, if he actually does actually join a fight or something. But I don't think he'll be a superhero. I don't think he'll be a super. I think he's probably going to be the guy that like doesn't really want a super suit. He just wants his regular director suit, and then he's going to be more than happy to actually like rip that off if he needs to, and then actually get into a fight and then get into some combat and stuff. So I mean, whether or not he's even combat trained is another question. But either way, I think they also kind of wanted someone who could defend themselves, so he can literally physically take hits from Melinda May herself. So that is a pretty strong testament as to how kind of self-defensive he really is. But some history on Mace too. Some history on Mace. He even did say he went through Terrigenesis, so that is the most kind of logical kind of birthing point for an Inhuman. You go through the Terrigenesis, and then if you're not, I mean Terrigenesis, yeah, I mean, yeah, I think given how season 3 went down, I think he likely would have had to be created by the fish oil pills. I think I'm pretty sure at least in the early half of because I think the only Terrigen crystals themselves that were left would have been in the ocean. They would have been in the ocean, and then the kind of Terrigen mist itself went into the fish, and then the fish became various different things. And so yes, I think it would have had to have been from consuming fish in some way. So he went through the Terrigenesis, and then he was born. He came out the other end with powers. So I'm curious as to what he was before this. Then, like if he was still like in politics, or if he was still working within the government, or if he was because I think he definitely seems to be able to he definitely seems to be able to handle this kind of environment well, and he seems to be able to he seems to know his way around this kind of field of work particularly well too. So I'm kind of curious as to if he actually did have some kind of role in government beforehand. And then he went to Terrigenesis, and then he became an Inhuman, and all that kind of stuff happened. And then the even more interesting thing, I would say interesting, like he referenced being present at the UN Vienna bombing, so that was Civil War. So that was the explosion at the UN meeting that actually killed T'Chaka. That was the explosion that killed T'Chaka, and the one that Zemo framed Bucky for. So he said he was present there, but then later on that's an amazing connection, because then imagine if we could have actually seen Mace in the background, like in the actual movie, because T'Chaka and T'Challa were there. T'Chaka was there giving the speech. T'Challa was there. I presume, as his kind of as his security, or as general security. Natasha was there on behalf of the other Avengers, and then it would have been so cool if we could actually see Mace in the background as a US agent, or being there on behalf of the United States government or something. That would have been such a cool Easter egg to see. That would have been such a cool maybe they even cast someone who looks like him, and then looks close enough to him, and then just have him be present in the background, But then with this one, it's just it's him photoshopped into another photo, and then a woman's there under the rubble, and he's defending her. So then I think it makes me wonder, like would that would that? It makes me wonder, could that have happened, like before or after his Terrigenesis? Because if it happened after his Terrigenesis, he would have been able to be protected that much more. Like he literally would not be hurt by any falling rubble or any kind of explosive backblow or anything like that. But if it was beforehand, then I think that would make him like a Steve Rogers level hero, like him literally taking any damage to himself and then protecting the woman, and maybe helping other people get out from any other structural damage too. So, but then I think Simmons mentioned that he lied too. Like she caught him out doing his own microaggressions too. So I don't know if he had like darting eyes or tense eyebrows or tense forehead or whatever, but she caught him out telling his own lie too. So she accused him. I think she noted the UN Vienna bombings. I think I'm wondering like is that what he lied about? Was he not really there? Because then if he wasn't there, then again like that would be like, oh yeah, so couldn't have possibly included him even as a background extra during the scene in Civil War, because then he wasn't really there. So I think that is the question on the hand. Is was he really not there, or was he is that the act of heroism that he was actually lying about? Because I think it was even the newscast. It wasn't even him that said it. It was actually the newscast, the newscast actually going down his kind of history. And I think they actually showed him in a photo like among other kind of like political members and stuff. So I think that would kind of confirm that he does have a history. But then the newscaster themselves even actually confirmed that that he was supposedly present at the UN Vienna bombing and actually helped save a woman's life there too. So, but then Simmons later caught him out lying. So I'm kind of confused on that, and I think I'm assuming that means that I don't know. I don't know anymore. I'm confused. But she caught him out lying on something. She caught him out lying about something. About his past, maybe. I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that scene again. But either way, she caught him out lying on something. So then that was enough. That was enough for him to be like, you know what? Never mind. You don't need to go back into the machine. You're good enough as it is, and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know. But she caught him out on something. She definitely caught him out on something. So yeah. And at the very end, we saw the post credit of Nadia discovering Ghost Rider's connection with Shield. So the way she sees it, Shield is harboring. Like she knows exactly. She's been on Ghost Rider's trail for a while. It seems like she's aware of Ghost Rider going around and brutally murdering like a bunch of like not necessarily innocent, but still murdering people in cold blood, still murdering people and kind of taking judge, jury, and executioner into his own hands. So she's aware of that, and she's also then like aware of that connection with Shield as well. So yeah, so then she's then blackmailing Mace with revealing that information in exchange for something. So blackmailing him with that information. So if he doesn't give her what she wants, then she will release that information that Shield is harboring a cold-blooded killer with supernatural abilities on their side, and that will get people definitely riled up. Like, oh my god, like for very understandable reasons. So then, yeah, I figured that oh yeah, she's definitely then they're definitely not gonna have her reveal like what her kind of conditions and what her price is for keeping this information secret or even out of public hands. But it's nothing good. Knowing her and knowing what she stands for is definitely nothing good. So some theories off the top of my head are maybe maybe she wants him to maybe denounce Inhumans. Maybe she wants him to actually denounce Inhumans, and maybe even if it's not like a straight up negative message straight away, maybe it's him making him backpedal on his previous views, or making him slowly kind of backpedal on his previous views, or maybe maybe him even stepping down. Maybe now that he's actually come out as an Inhuman director of Shield, maybe actually having him step down from the role and maybe telling him that I'm going to be stepping down, and an actual human being is taking place, anything that would actually kind of decrease support, so doing anything that would actually decrease support for Inhumans or something like that, or maybe even helping to fund her and something. I don't know, but knowing her, it's going to be something that actually refuses to support Inhumans in some way, or actually decreases support for Inhumans in some way and stuff, and maybe even something politically. So maybe reducing political support for Inhumans, if that's a thing. So I don't know, but it's nothing good. So I guess we'll find out in the next one. I guess we'll find out in the next episode exactly what she wants and what her conditions are. So yeah, that is pretty much it. That is pretty much all I've got from this one. It was a fun one. So I'm looking forward to seeing how the story continues and what the secrets of the Darkhold are, and how Ghost Rider continues to work with Shield, and how they hunt down, how they actually track down Eli and actually find out what Lucy's going to make him do with the Darkhold. But all in good time. But yeah, that is it. That is pretty much all I've got from this one. So that was Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 4, Episode 5. So thank you guys, as always, so much for being here and for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then salt and burn that like button. Comment on what you thought of the episode and what you think is coming next time on Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Once again, the full-length reaction for this episode will be available on Patreon, so you can go check that out over there. And yeah, that is it. So, I will see you guys next time.